This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
If you want to say, hey, I heard it here, you might have heard it here first if you weren't listening last night. So Jalen Hutchings and Tony Bradford were on last night, okay? Or they were in the room at least. And because I left so we could go to the basketball games. But there's been a little bit of discussion, and apparently Coach McGuire texted Coach Kitley this about putting Jalen Hutchings in at fullback. So if you see number 95 at some point in time this year in fullback, I mean, it was kind of as a joke last night that I think Jalen or Tony had given Coach McGuire one of his questions. What about putting in Jalen Hutchings at fullback? Kind of one of those deals, kind of thing. I didn't hear exactly what the question was, but Coach McGuire, he and Chris Level were laughing about it. And Coach McGuire's like, I can show you a text where I actually sent a text to Coach Kitley about putting him in the backfield. So don't be surprised if you see that.
Was it after Donovan attempted to run forward?
I don't know.
To a stacked line.
I don't know when he sent that text.
Is that when the text went through?
I don't know. But I thought that is kind of like the old William Refrigerator Perry, kind of play. Putting him in there. I have no idea what kind of 40 speed, Jalen Hutchings has. But,
I wouldn't guess it would be about him running the football. It would be more about being a lead blocker.
But I mean, he's 310. He probably could move the line. If you handed him the ball, gave him but most undoubtedly, being a lead blocker. But anyway, don't be surprised if you see that. Tony,
I will be.
You will be? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I think that was probably him having fun, and but I don't hate the concept. I mean, you get a big guy back there to kind of be a lead blocker and clear out an open lane, and you'd have the extra blocker there in the backfield. So yeah, I wouldn't hate that.
So when I say don't be surprised, I was more of like, if it happens now, you won't necessarily be surprised. You'll say, I'm surprised they did it, but I'm not surprised because Coach McGuire had previously said that could possibly happen. Does that make sense? Right?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure it does.
Okay. So you could be surprised, but don't be surprised by the surprise of Jalen Hutchings showing up in the backfield.
I feel like I need to carry a 2 in this conversation.
You do.
Yeah. Yes.
Times 3. The other thing is that, and I don't know if this was made in jest, so hopefully none of the gumshoes were listening, but because back in the day this would be considered an extra benefit, but now I would imagine it's just part of name, image, and likeness, and maybe just as a part of the old process that we're going through now of pay for play. But Coach McGuire did say that Tony Bradford could drive his Corvette for a month if he came back next year. Okay. But then he also went on to say, "Hey, good luck getting into that seat with his frame, with your hips, right?"
It was also the one I thought I enjoyed the most of that was the would he trade houses?
Yes.
And he said no, but he can come live with us. My wife loves him, and I thought that was nice.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
I think Tony Bradford is a big time quality dude. We're blessed to have guys like him on our football program representing this university.
Yeah, I think 20 years from now he's going to have done great things.
No question.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the good ones.
I did think it was interesting, Coach McGuire saying basically when he was talking about the officiating and being consistent, and because somebody asked him, okay, can you define pass interference for me? Because that's what the question was, and that's where it started. He goes, well, he said, if you look at the definition of pass interference at 13:06 or whatever it was in the third quarter, that's the play that you and I talked about quite a bit, where Miles Price basically gets mugged and hugged, and he still almost catches the ball.
That's pass interference every time. I don't care what you're calling it tight, you're calling it loose. That's That's pass interference.
Right, which it wasn't called then. And then the pass interference with like 14:04 to go in the game, which is the one that's on Rashad, on the 6-yard line. It was 2nd and goal.
Oh, I thought that was pass interference on the offense.
Yeah, right. I did too. I did too. That's exactly what I thought. But it wasn't. It wasn't called that way. It was called pass interference on Rashad Williams, and it moves the ball from the 6 and makes it 1st and goal as opposed to 3rd and goal from the 6. So it goes to 1st and goal basically from the 2, and then they get a touchdown right away from the running back. So anyway, that was just a couple of things from last night. 6:37 this morning here on the morning drive. We've talked about basketball a little bit. They'll be back in action on Monday, and then the Lady Raiders play Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and then they'll play a week from Sunday as well. So it's a busy time with the convergence of all the sports taking place. I saw this yesterday, and I thought this was extremely curious. So Frank Reich, your guy from the Buffalo Bills, who helped lead the Buffalo Bills back to a huge win against the Houston Oilers way back in the day. He was fired this week. Jamie, he was fired over the phone by Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay couldn't take the time to come to the office and fire him. He gets a phone call on Monday morning.
Irsay was in town?
I don't know if he was in town or not, but I mean, he has, means to get into town if you're going to fire somebody.
You'd like to think so, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he was across the country or something, but still wanted to make the move.
The quote from Fox, is it Fox 59? Yeah, Fox 59. Didn't even know they had a Fox 59. They're in Indianapolis. Their sports guy, Mike Chappelle, said they talked. Frank Reich listened. Irsay informed his head coach he was being fired. The news came less than 24 hours after they lost to the New England Patriots. Apparently, Irsay wasn't available for a face-to-face, so the two are expected to get together, quote, in the next few weeks.
That'll be fun.
Why would we meet now? Do you need something for me, like where I've hidden the keys to the office supplies or something like that?
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right.
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Jamie, it's 11/11/22. 11 plus 11 is 22, and it's the year of our Lord 2022. So 11/11/22. And here with all the news and notes is Jeff McGuire.
Should have seen that one coming, Jamie. We're smarter than that. 1943, New York Yankees pitcher Spud Chandler wins the AL MVP. St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Stan Musial wins the NL MVP. 1944, New York Rangers beat the Detroit Red Wings 5-2 to end the NHL record 25-game winless streak.
Ooh.
They were 0-21-4. 1960, a record then New York Knicks crowd for the third Madison Square Garden venue on 49th Street. 18,499 to the Knicks beat the Syracuse Nationals 112-108.
You ever go to the old Garden before they?
I've never been to Madison Square Garden.
Never. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Would you like to go there someday?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
1981.
The Raiders were playing one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
1981, LA Dodgers starter Fernando Valenzuela becomes the first Major League rookie to win a Cy Young Award. Brewers' Raleigh Finger takes the AL Cy Young Award. Did I say finger? It's definitely fingers. There's definitely an S there. Mm-hmm. There's 100% an S there.
Handlebar mustache.
Yes.
Yeah, there's more than one finger.
You'd think he has 10 of them, especially 5 on his pitching hand. It's definitely Raleigh fingers. 1987.
Or at least 4 fingers and a thumb.
If he had 5 fingers, that'd be unique.
Boston Red Sox starter.
So is the thumb? I'm sorry, Jeff.
Nope.
The thumb doesn't qualify as a finger?
No, it's 4 fingers and a thumb.
You agree with that, Jeff?
5-finger discount when you lift something.
I think if I
give me 5.
If I was in an accident of some sort and I lost my thumb and the finger next to it, I would say I'm down to just 3 fingers, or I would say I lost 2 fingers and a.
You lost a finger and a thumb?
I would say I lost 2 fingers. Yeah. I think a thumb is a specialized finger. I think it still should be considered a finger. It's just a special one.
What's more important, the thumb or your big toe?
Thumb.
Yeah, because the big toe can be used as a thumb if you needed it. That's happened before.
What?
One of the why would you do that, or why was the thumb more important? Or so many questions. Why, Jamie?
If you lost your thumb, you could use one of your big toes. Probably if you lost your right thumb, it'd be
there's a surgery involved, Jamie. If that helps,
big toe. Yeah,
he's forgetting a big step there. That they can remove your big toe and make it your
thumb. Well, that's a big thumb that you've got. Yeah, it used to be my big toe.
Okay, I'm going to start from the beginning.
Go ahead.
Okay, if it's on my left hand, I think I would rather have my big toe. I think big toe is so important and balance and moving left, right, all that. I think if you lost your big toe, that'd be a bad deal.
Try grabbing a cup.
Well, again, my left hand, not the hand I knew, but I could grab a cup with a hand and
that's true.
And 4 fingers.
You think?
Yeah. You don't think with a hand and 4 fingers?
Oh, with the other hand, yeah, sure. Yeah. Risa agrees with you. She says thumb is a finger in medicine. I'm with Jamie, but she's always with Jamie.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the smart money. Is
Drinking
to be with
the Jamie Kool-Aid.
Smart money is to be with you. Bad money is to be with me.
Hey, so we've seen somebody in history has their thumb, their big toe removed, and they sewed it onto their.
Yeah, so they could button their top collar button so they could tie their tie.
I don't know that was the reason, but yes, they could then and actually button the top button. 1987, Boston Red Sox starter Roger Clemens, who had 4 fingers and a thumb on his hand, wins back-to-back AL Cy Young awards. The Philadelphia Phillies starter Steve Bedrosian.
Steve Bedrosian. I know.
Okay.
Take my word.
No way I would have gotten that from there.
Steve Bedrosian
is the NL winner.
I always went with Bedrosian.
Okay.
I have no idea which one is right.
1990.
He was a bit player, so.
Yeah.
California Angel Chuck Finley and Seattle Mariner Randy Johnson combine to pitch a no-hitter in an exhibition game between the U.S. and Japanese all-star teams. We could bring that back. That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, it would.
Although, how are you going to get him to play? 1997, Canadian-based players win the Cy Young Award. We can guess who they are?
What year, 97?
This is 97. There's 2 Canadian baseball teams at this point.
Dave Stieb, was he it? No, that's too late for him.
Canadian-based players?
Baseball teams. This is base.
Okay, so they weren't players. Canadians. They played for the
Canadian baseball teams.
The Expos or the
Blue Jays.
Was it
one from each?
1997. Clemens.
That's one.
And for Expos wasn't Pedro.
It was Pedro. Very good.
Wow, good job, Jamie.
Yeah.
And in 2013, Novak Djokovic claims back-to-back ATP World Tour Finals tennis titles with a 6-3, 6-4 win over Nadal in the final in London, England.
Bad day.
I was going to say, it made you sour, didn't it?
It did.
Something that'll make you feel better. It's National Sunday Day.
On a Friday.
Are you a fan of the Sunday?
Yes. I mean, I tweak it a little bit. whatever yellowness they got going on there. With
Pineapple.
The pineapple, I'm out. Whatever that.
Well,
is.
that would be the banana split.
Oh, okay.
He's just
You're
saying
right.
sundae.
Just a regular old
Yeah,
Sunday.
just
Okay,
good old
I'm
fashioned
sorry.
Sunday.
Chocolate sundae?
No, 100% out on that. The chocolate's too rich for me.
Strawberry?
Strawberry sundae
With
all day,
vanilla
every
ice
day.
cream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Andres Flores turns 31.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Demi Moore is 60. Mark Sanchez, 37. Victor Cruz, 36. And on this day in 1921, exactly 3 years after the end of World War I, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is dedicated in Arlington Cemetery. 2 days before, an unknown American soldier who had fallen somewhere on the World War I battlefield arrived at the nation's capital for a military ceremony in France. On Armistice Day, in the presence of President Harding and other government, military, and international dignitaries, the unknown soldier was buried with the highest honors bestowed beside the Memorial Amphitheater. Also, a soldier was lowered into the final resting place. 2 inches of soil brought from France were placed underneath him, and that is this day in sports history. And very quickly, time for our word of the day.
Yeah, and our word of the day at 6:45-ish, now at 6:54, is Cowboys. Cowboys. Go to doublet973.com and enter that in. You could win $10,000 a week from today from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
It was. I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thanks for being with us. Take your thoughts this morning on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Benchmark hotline is open as well. 4-5 Texas Tech against 6-3 Kansas tomorrow. KU is 3-3 in the Big 12. Texas Tech is 2-4 in the Big 12. Texas Tech with a win would give themselves an opportunity to have a terrific home record. It has been since 2009 when the Red Raiders last finished 6-1 at home. You're 4-1 right now. So you'd have to win tomorrow and then the last game of the year, the Saturday after Thanksgiving against Oklahoma, which seems very doable.
Possible, sure.
Yeah, seems doable. How about this for Krishan Merriweather? He had his 3rd game with 10 or more tackles at TCU and the 5th of his Red Raider career as he made 11 stops against the Horned Frogs. So he and Tyree Wilson right now currently rank 18th in the FBS and 2nd in the Big 12 for solo tackles. The team leading 78 tackles for him through 9 games is the best since the start of the 2000 season, trailing only players like Jordan Brooks, who had 98 in 2019, Dakota Allen, who had 82 in 2015, Bronton Bird, forget about him, 79 in 2010, and Dwayne Slay, 79 in 2005. All those guys are, really up there in terms of, defensive standouts, history of Texas Tech football.
Yep, those were good ones.
They had 10 tackles for loss against TCU. It was only the 5th time since the start of the 2000 season that Texas Tech has notched at least 10 tackles for loss against a Big 12 opponent. That could be a key for tomorrow. I mean, if you can, because the thing you look at, I think, from when you look at these two teams, they've had such a different journey to where they are in terms of some of their stats, because KU piled up wins against Tennessee Tech and Duke in addition to beating Houston. That's a common opponent. KU also beat West Virginia in Morgantown, common opponent, although it took them to overtime. They've beaten Iowa State. Tech has yet to play them. They lost at home to TCU. Tech lost on the road to TCU. And then they have a loss away from home at OU and a loss away from home at Baylor, 35-23. I think the thing about that game is KU played better in the second half than they did the first half, but I feel like that overall Texas Tech probably played a more complete game against Baylor than KU did.
Okay.
The thing that was impressive for KU's standpoint in the Baylor game is that Baylor led like 28-3 at the half. And so they only scored a touchdown in the second half. Mm-hmm. So and then, of course, they have the win over Oklahoma State, 37-16, and Tech lost at home to Oklahoma State, 41-31. But it's a completely different Oklahoma State team that played. I say completely different, substantially different.
Appears that way.
Yeah, from what they played last week than what Tech played earlier in the season. But here, this may be, of all the stats, Jamie, this may be the one, and we've talked about this every single week. But the disparity this week is pretty large. Kansas in the turnover margin is +8. +8. That's 12th in the NCAAs, and it's second in the Big 12. Texas Tech is -8 in the turnover margin, 120th in the FBS, and 10th in the Big 12. So, I mean, it's Captain Obvious stuff, but, can you just play them even? If you just played them even, is that enough to win, in terms of the turnover margin?
If you played Kansas even?
Yeah.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, absolutely. I mean, Kansas, you would think, probably has to say, they're the one that's saying,
we have a chance to get 2 or 3 here.
We need to be plus if we're going to win. Is Kansas favored in this game?
To be honest with you, Jamie, no, I don't think so. I think,
yeah,
I'm constantly. Maybe I should do a better job of watching the line. I'm constantly asked by people who's favored, and I've just never been a line watcher.
Mm-hmm. Me neither. But I mean, you're kind of talking there like Kansas is the favorite, and the Red Raiders need to be plus whatever to win. And no, I feel like it's the opposite to me.
Okay. Tech is favored by 3.5.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess my point was when I look at some of these other numbers, like KU is 3rd in scoring offense, Tech is 7th. KU is 5th in rushing offense, Tech is 8th. Tech is 1st in passing offense, KU is 9th. Then you look at total defense, Tech is 4th, KU is 9th. So that's the other thing too, where there's a big advantage for the Red Raiders. Their defense has played substantially better, I think, over the consistency of the season than Kansas.
Mm-hmm. No question.
Okay.
Kansas defense is not good.
Tackles for loss.
Their offense is good.
Tackles for loss, Big 12 is 3rd. KU is 9th. And then total defense, I told you, and then I told you it was 4th and 9th. So anyway, it's kind of some of the matchups there. One thing, just a statistical note for Texas Tech, SaRodorick Thompson needs 50 yards to match Baron Batch for 9th place in career rushing yards. He enters the weekend with 2,461.
Nice.
So he's a guy that could have a good day too.
I'd be a fan of that.
Yeah, and
I think your running back. I think your offense in general should have a big day tomorrow.
Is there something key that you're looking for tomorrow? Do you think it's passing down the field? Do you think there's a big opportunity there?
I think being able to run the football is key. Not put all the pressure on whoever is your quarterback. So I think if you can get SaRodorick and Taj going, your offensive line can create the openings for that to happen, then I think you got a shot.
Somebody said, "Did you hear yourself? Baylor killed us." I understand that 45-17, but it was a much closer game than that.
Well, it was funny. It was a funny game because you were getting blown out early. I mean, you were not in, in the game, and it felt like you were getting crushed. And then all of a sudden, it was 24-17, and then you were in it for a minute, and then it all fell apart again. Yeah. So it felt like for the majority of the game, Baylor was dominating you, but there was a stretch in there where it's like, okay, we're in this thing, and into the third quarter, we're like, hey, we're right here, and then it went bad again.
Yeah, I guess I guess when I was just comparing the two games, I felt like Tech was in it more against Baylor than KU was in it against Baylor.
I didn't watch a single snap of the Baylor KU game. I just saw the score. So
anyway, that was just my take. That was just my take on that. 7:23 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Other games in the Big 12 tomorrow. Oklahoma is at West Virginia. That's an 11 a.m. kick. Iowa State at Oklahoma State, 2:30. Then Tech and Kansas play at 6. And then tomorrow night also, K-State is at Baylor. That is a 6 o'clock kick. And then TCU at Texas, a 6:30 kick. How many road teams win tomorrow?
Oklahoma will.
Is that it? TCU?
Nope.
Okay.
Oklahoma is the only road win.
Okay. All right. I will do upon further review. We'll make official predictions. I also have the standings for the upon further review. Okay. Jamie's got a question of the day. That is next here this morning on Lubbock Sports Station Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
All right, here is my question for you guys today. This is pretty wide-ranging with Red Raider football, so I'm expecting some different responses off the wall.
Okay. Well, I think you can count on off the wall.
Arkansas.
Okay.
I'll never live that down.
As you shouldn't. What has been the biggest surprise about the 2022 Red Raider football season?
The biggest surprise. That we have been, I think, more aggressive than I thought on fourth down. I thought we were going to be aggressive on fourth down. I didn't think we were going to be, from our own 36, aggressive on fourth down.
Before the season started, you thought we would be aggressive on fourth downs?
No. Oh, no. I mean, that's kind of developed, but that was after week 1. I was just trying to be different. You told me to be off the wall, so I was trying to be just a little bit different.
My answer would have been how many times you've gone forward on fourth down.
Okay.
That would have been my answer.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say
no idea that was coming. No clue whatsoever.
That number, yeah, absolutely. I didn't see that coming. My other thought was just the emergence and success of Xavier White from an individual player standpoint.
Okay.
The fact that we need milk cartons to find our tight ends.
We need what?
Milk cartons. Missing persons. Because as much as we talked about tight ends in the offseason, as much as the coaches talked about it in the fall, in the spring and in the fall, I figured you would be running your offense through your quarterback and tight end play, and they are somewhere. I don't know where. They're on the roster. They played in games. I've seen them have snaps. Have not seen them have catches.
Okay. Is there a train?
I was trying to figure out
where's the train?
There's the train tracks to the east of us.
It's very loud today.
But it's very loud today. Yeah. I guess he was just blowing his horn.
I guess so.
We could hear it all through the walls here.
I think that's a good one, Jeff. The tight ends. I mean, I expected them to be a big factor. If I wasn't going to go with just how many times you've gone for it on fourth down, I mean, if I was going to go specifically with a player, I would. I mean, Tyree Wilson. I mean,
but is he a surprise?
I don't think I thought he was going to be this good.
Okay.
I mean, when you're talking about more QB pressures than anybody in the country.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And them talking about him being top half of the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that good.
That's
I didn't realize he was that good. Now, did I think he was a good player? No doubt. But, man, he's been crazy good.
He enters the weekend as one of 3 Power 5 players to rank in the top 10 of the FBS for tackles for loss per game, as well as the top 20 for sacks per game, where he is currently 18th in the FBS. Yeah. And like you said, projected to be top half of the first round.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to be that good.
Yeah. That's fair. That's very fair.
Yeah. So that would be if there was an individual player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you wanted to go on the negative side of things, you could probably go with how small of a factor Miles Price has been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought he would have a huge season.
Mm-hmm.
Huge season. I thought he'd be the go-to guy in a pass-happy offense. And injuries have obviously played a major role in that, but I just don't think he's ever just gotten into it, gotten the flow going, unfortunately.
Let's get into some quick math here. Yeah, you've gone for it on 4th down 5% of your plays. So you've run 770 offensive plays this year, and you've run on 4th down 42 times. Tech is 25 of 42 on 4th down. Opponents are 6 of 15 on 4th down.
And I think opponents end up going for it more because you push the envelope a little bit, and they're kind of forced to react a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the other thing, too, is I think opponents have looked at us and gone, well, 4th and 2, we've been running the ball pretty, decently well. We can go for it here on 4th down, and pick up a first down. I think does it seem like we're seeing more of that in college football? But maybe not. So KU is 6 of 11 on 4th down. Their opponents are 14 of 21. So maybe they feel like that. Maybe they feel the same way. Maybe the opponents of Kansas feel like, hey, their defense is not very good. If it's 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, we're gonna go for it here because they've been successful 67% of the time. So that might lead to something for tomorrow as well that could be even more aggressive. We'll go for it from our own 25, Jamie. 4th and 2.
You know what? If you're down 7 with 2 minutes left, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Okay. I have a feeling you could be down 7 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter and do that.
I would not be in favor of that.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Despite all the turnovers, Texas Tech has only given up 37 points off of turnovers, despite all of the turnovers. And you've had 16 interceptions. You've only intercepted the ball 5 times. Maybe the other thing that you could say from a surprise standpoint is, given the emphasis on the take 3, in terms of trying to take the ball away from the opponent and be +3, that hasn't panned out.
I think every coaching staff tries to get forced turnovers.
Yeah, no,
I mean, just because they came up with this take 3 thing, it's not anything new. Every defensive coordinator, every head coach, they want turnovers. Just because they said it didn't make me think it was going to automatically happen.
I understand that, but I mean, it just was a pretty large point of emphasis, it seemed like.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
I believe in miracles. That's why I believe that we can entertain you for the next 59 minutes and some change. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Maybe inform, maybe make you laugh, maybe make you throw something against the wall. I don't know. Hopefully, if you've got something you throw against the wall, it's something that won't break. We come to you this morning from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. Are you a thrower against the waller kind of guy? Not very often, right?
It's very, very rare, and it usually doesn't I don't ever get that angry over a sporting event.
Or anything.
No, my children have made me pretty angry before. Fighting over clothes. And, I mean, just sometimes I just leave.
What do? You drive around the block?
No, I'll just go for a walk.
Go for a walk. Where's Daddy? He walked to the radio station, or
I just go for a walk.
I once worked for a guy.
Because I'm not fixing it. I'm not fixing it. I mean, you're fighting over whose clothes are whose, and who is you or my sweatshirt. Well, where is it? I don't know. I put it away. No, you didn't. You can't wear my sweatshirt because you didn't return. I mean, like, I'm just like, I'm out. I can't stand this. Let me take every bit of clothing I've ever purchased for you two, and so we can't fight over them anymore.
You want to just like give it away?
Yes, just want to give it away.
Okay.
So when we get in those modes,
You load up the trunk with their clothes.
I am not the person you want to be around.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why I just leave.
Okay.
Or I close the bedroom door.
I once worked for a guy who was based out of Dallas, and his son and daughter-in-law worked for me, and that was the lesson in life. And
you worked for a guy,
and
then his son and daughter-in-law worked for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And it did not end well. I'll just say this. But one day he came to Lubbock. He flew into Lubbock, and I was out on an appointment, and I came back, and these two were traditionally late, but they performed. So I mean, there was some things that I could get. There were some things that I could control and things I couldn't control. And that was one of the things I couldn't control, was them getting to work at 8:30 in the morning. They just, for whatever reason, they struggled with that, but they performed. So anyway, the bottom line was, his wife called me, and she called me like once every 6 months, just with random questions. And she said, "Chuck, what is going on there?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Ken just came home, and he was just so upset. He had been to Lubbock today, and he walked home from the airport. He literally walked home from Love Field to Highland Park." And I said, "First of all, I didn't even know he was here." I said, I've been out all morning." But he was so mad when he came to Lubbock and wasn't happy with not seeing his son and daughter-in-law at work at the proper time, and he knew that I was out making calls, and didn't leave me a note or anything. This is before email, and he walked home from Love Field. He was so mad, and I believed it.
How far was it?
Well, it was summer, but we're talking Love Field to Highland Park. I mean, it's several miles.
Okay.
I mean, he was not in the best of shape, but it's like, wow. Wow.
Yeah. I don't.
Goodness.
There are not many things that get me that angry.
Yeah.
It's just, kids fighting over things that
No, I got you.
are unnecessary to fight over. That's where
We never had that.
Yeah.
We never could, but our kids weren't as close together as yours. Yeah. Maybe it was pretty close. Pretty close.
It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it really makes me lose my mind. Chuck,
have you ever seen the Wheat Liberty Bell? It's one of the 8 wonders of Kansas. Clint is a bad Kansan and has never seen it. Well, I guess I'm worse because I've never even heard of it. So I don't know anything about that. I have no idea. JL, Chuck, how far was it? Chuck, it was summer. In Arkansas. Okay, in Arkansas. 8:06 this morning here on the morning drive. Maybe that's why Chuck tells people it's okay to be late. They broke him. Yeah, they did. They broke me. They broke me. They did. They broke me. They broke me. So many different ways. Anyway, so
I bet you were.
King Craig says it's 4 miles. Love Field of Highland Park is approximately 4 miles. Thank you, King Craig.
It's a good walk.
Yeah, it's a good walk. It's a
good exercise.
Good walk for a guy that wasn't in good shape.
Well, he's in better shape after that.
I don't know. Oh, Tech basketball last night. They come away with a victory. Did you have any 60,000, 30,000 foot view of this game that that kind of stood out to you in some form or fashion?
No, I mean, nothing jumped out to me as, oh man, we're in trouble, or I don't know. You did a better job with turnovers, just 12. It felt like, I don't know. It just felt for much of the game that it was kind of sloppy. Okay. Not necessarily with the Red Raiders, but Texas Southern was sloppy, and it kind of made for a, I don't know, not super well played game. I thought the Red Raiders did everything that they needed to do. Again, the rebounding thing jumps out at you a little bit because Texas Southern is not like that's a high caliber team, and they out rebound you. But you're missing your big man right now, and the problem is you don't know when you're going to get him back. So you've got to be able to play without him. So I like the balanced scoring with 3 players in double figures. I thought you continued to attack the rim. You didn't shoot it as well from beyond the arc as you did last time out, but that's, somewhat expected at times. So, I mean, nothing really jumped out at me.
Didn't shoot it as well in the second half. You were 17 of 29 from the field in the first half, 11 of 32 in the second, 3 of 8 from distance in the first, 2 of 9. Shot better from the free throw line in the second half, 10 of 12 versus 7 of 10. Hey, does Davion Harmon remind you of anybody? Because I had two different people bring up the same name with regard to him. And we're only 2 games into seeing him. But
Damon Stoudemire.
Okay, Bryson Williams from last year?
One was a post and one's a point guard.
I'm just talking about the hustle and but 2 different people brought that up. I'm just telling you.
They both.
I know.
They both play basketball for Texas Tech.
Okay.
Yep, they same guy.
Okay, well.
If you tell me it's about a specific thing, but I mean, they're nothing like each other.
Maybe just the hustle, maybe the aggressiveness. I don't know.
Okay, I could probably buy into some of that.
Maybe that. But that.
You need to stop listening to other people, man.
I am going to stop listening to other people.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.